Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to understand defective goods, how to write their amounts, how to make journal entries, and how to finish our requirement. Illustration number 6.5 is directly associated with only one concept, that is defective. Last time we have solved illustration for spoiled goods. In the similar way, we are going to solve defective goods. Before starting, let's repeat the concept. In case of spoiled goods, there would be a sort of damage, but that damage is not recoverable. Under spoiled goods, we have understood that there would be a loss or damage of product, and that damage is unrecoverable. But when you are talking about defective goods, we will again have loss and damage, but that loss is easily recoverable by putting some effort. In case of spoiled goods, you will sale of your commodities as B pair, and in defective goods, you will sell your commodities as A pair. So kindly understand, it's not a severe damage. In case of defective goods, you will put little effort with which you will be able to make that product again A pair, while spoiled goods is a heavy damage and you will not be able to repair it. So ultimately you will be compelled to sell them as B pair. This is the major difference between spoiled and defective goods. You can see the format or the volume of the question, and that's all. From here to here, our question, and we will write our journal entries first, because requirement is what? Prepare journal entries, and we are in need to start our question by putting journal entries. First journal entry for spoiled, defective, charge to the production, not charge to the production is similar. And what is that? Work in process material, and then you will be related with work in process but for labor, and then again you will be having work in process for factory overhead. While material will be going out, that means there would be a decrease in material, it should be credited. Then labor would also be credited. Finally, we will see factory overheads to be on credit side. And what narration we will use? Our work is started. In this entry, we will see how much total units with which we have started our work. And in last illustration, we have put some formulas over here as well. But I have seen the question right now. There is a little difference and you will follow that. Second entry for defective goods, as you know, is little different. And you have an idea. If you will have your spoiled goods, if you will have your defective goods, you can put little more effort by putting material, labor and FH, and you will be able to convert that product again as A pair. I'm repeating the concept. What I have said is, if there are some defective goods, you will put new raw material, labor and FH upon that damaged product, and will ultimately turn that product again as A pair. So damage would not be seen in appearance. So every customer will take or buy that product as A pair. So what we will do, we will again, there are damaged goods, we will again start or rework, we will again start our work in process upon damaged good by putting some material. Secondly, we will start again work in process by putting some labor workers upon damaged goods. And thirdly, work in process will be restarted by using some electric power or factory overhead. In this way, you can see entry is similar to our first entry because it's for reworking. And as in first entry, we will be using materials. Material will go out. Labor will be used and FH will also be used. Let's settle them as we have changed the position of these entries. So you need to put on credit side. Okay, this is your second journal entry, and what we will say, rework started upon defective goods. These are total goods, and at second entry you will see your defective goods rework. And why we are doing rework? Because damage is not that serious, damage is not that severe, so we will put a little effort and will be able to make these products again as a pair. Second entry completed, and for third entry you don't have to do anything new. It means same journal entry we will be making for third. Let me know what was your third entry. After completion of your damaged goods repair, you will now count out how many finished products you do have. Hopefully you have understood. Last entry is regarding finished goods. Little bit setting is disturbed because of the question. So here we will be making again. So some of you, let me inform what would be the journal entry for finished goods. So first thing is, when finished goods would be prepared, it would be favorable for us. That means our asset is ready. Asset should be written on debit side, so you will put your finished goods at debit side. And ultimately your work in process upon repair, work in process upon defective goods has been ended. When work in process was started, it was on debit side. When work in process is ended, you will be putting it on credit side. So work in process material would be put over here, then work in process labor is also ended, then work in process factory overhead is also ended. In this way our journal entries completed, and we are needed to put amounts now. And how we will put amounts? We will go upside and complete first entry. For this we will go in our question. Here, national company introduction. The company received order to manufacture 1000 number of units. So units are already present. The cost. Look at here, in previous illustration, total cost was not provided. Per unit cost was provided. So what we have done, units were multiplied with per unit. But here, total cost is already present in the question. So you don't need to calculate them. The first cost is direct material, 80,000 for total. This is our first entry. So what we will do, put 80,000 in front of work in process material. Why? This is total direct material used, and then direct labor 50,000. So you will put 50,000 in front of labor. And finally, FOH cost, manufacturing is applied at the rate of 80% of labor. Labor is 50,000 and you need to calculate 80%. Here you can calculate labor was 50,000 and you will be calculating 50%, for which 50 divided by 100. In this way you can calculate amount of FH which was not given in your question. Statement is completed, so you can calculate. Statement is completed. Oh my god, something really okay, thank you. Okay, statement is now completed. We can put it on calculator. 50,000 multiplied by, what was the percentage? Let me see first. 80% of direct labor. So it is not 60%, it is 80%, and you will follow the same calculation over here. Multiply by 80 divided by 100. So third amount has also been arrived, and as usual you don't need to calculate amounts on credit side. You will apply simple accounting principle. Amounts present on debit side would be similar to amount present on credit side. So 80,000, 50,000 and 40,000 would be written as it is. Second entry is very important. You will have to understand this narration. Rework started upon defective goods. Rework started upon defective goods. Come over here. Here your question is saying manufacturing this and that. An examination of finished goods indicated that 50 units were defective and had to put back into production for rework. This is very important. We have started rework upon these 50 defective goods. The additional cost incurred on defective goods are material use. Again, it's so easy that you don't need to calculate the amounts. These amounts are already present in the question. We will directly put material cost 500 in front of material. Okay, this is 500 in front of material, and then we have 400 for labor cost. So put 400 labor, and then we will be looking forward for amount of FH, and as we have calculated earlier, we will use a similar tool to calculate amount of factory overhead as well, because what has been said, manufacturing overhead at applied rate, and applied rate is what, 80% of labor. So similarly we will calculate 80% of labor here. Amount of labor is how much? 400, and you need to multiply it by 80%. In this way rework FH would be calculated. Statement is completed. Now put it on your calculator. 400 multiplied by 50 divided by 100. In this way our work in process FH is also calculated. The rule which we have applied over here was simple. Amounts present on debit side are equal to amount present on credit side. So we don't need to calculate amounts of credit side. Same amount 500, 400 and 200 would be put at credit side. So two entries are completed. Now finally we need to calculate finished goods, and I have told you there is no way of calculation of these work in process directly. You will have to make ledgers. So first amount is related to work in process material. For that we will be making ledger for work in process material, and I have told you there is direct method as well without making ledger, but you are not allowed to follow that. In this question there are only two journal entries, work in process material, work in process material. Both are present on debit side. Since their signs are same, so you can directly add as well, but we will put them in ledger. In first entry, work in process material is debited by 80,000. So here you will put 80,000 on debit side, and in second entry again work in process is present on debit side 500. So you will choose debit side to put 500. For reference, you can see work in process material was debit, and what is written on the opposite side? 2 material. So 2 material will be used as reference. Since both entries are similar, so you will use 2 material for both. Next step is to calculate sum of both sides. 80,500 is sum of debit side. We are adding these two amounts, and nothing is present on credit side, so 0 is total of credit side. Now we will choose the larger sum, which is 80,500. Put it on total of both sides. 80,500 larger sum we have put on total of both sides. Then we will choose the smaller side. This is smaller. Here we will calculate the balance. How? By subtracting smaller sum from the larger sum. Larger sum is 80,500, and you will subtract smaller sum, which is 0. In this way you have calculated your first balance. Work in process material balance. Come over here, and you will write this work in process material balance over here. And how much is that? 80,500. This is your balance you have calculated, and you will put over here. In the similar way, you will be making ledger for work in process labor as well. While I have told you without making ledger, though you can calculate this amount, but for a comprehensive solution you need to make your ledgers. So work in process labor, there are only 2 entries. In first entry, work in process labor is debited by 50,000. So put 50,000 over here. And in second entry, you can see again work in process labor is debited by 400. So put 400 over here, and reference is similar for both. Work in process labor is debited, and whatever is written on the opposite side would be reference. Opposite side labor is written, so you will use 2 labor for both entries. Now it's time to calculate its balance. For that, first step is to calculate the total of both sides. Total of debit side 50,400, total of credit side nil, nothing is present over here. Then you will choose larger balance. This is your larger balance 50,400, which would be put on total of both sides. Next step is to choose smaller side. Credit side is smaller because total of this side was 0. Here you will calculate balance. How? By subtracting smaller total from the larger total. The smaller, here you have larger total 50,400, and you will subtract smaller total, which was 0. In this way we have got our balance of work in process labor 50,400. So let's go back to the question. Here is our finished goods entry, and we need to put amount of labor over here, for which we have made ledger highlighted area work in process labor, and its balance was 50,400, and same balance would be put at above. Okay, in the similar way, we are now going to calculate work in process FOH, and I will tell you how directly you can calculate. Look at here, work in process is debited 40,000, work in process again debited 200. Both are present at debit side. Signs are same, so you will add 40,000 and 200 would be 40,200. So you will put 40,200 over here. In this way, all amounts related to finished goods entry we have completed. And next step is what? To write down the amount of finished goods. There is no formula for finished goods. We will apply simple accounting principle. Debit and credit side would always be equal. So what you will do, sum of these three amounts would be written in front of finished goods. First amount is 80,500, then you will add 50,400, and then you will add 40,200. In this way, our first amount has been calculated for finished goods, and in this way, your answer has been completed. 80,000, 500, 50,400, everything was given in the question, and finally you have got your amount. Let's see what was amount of here. Oh, it was not 50%, it was 80%. So here last amount would be, when you will add two amounts, first amount was 40,000 and then second amount was 320. So let's add directly. No, it's not good to calculate that. First amount was 40,000 and then add second amount 320. So we have got third amount 40,320. So both methods have been discussed. Two amounts were calculated through ledger. Work in process material ledger we have made and amount was written over here. And I have told you direct method as well. Factory overhead ledger we haven't presented. And instead of that ledger, what you have done, directly posted the amount. Here work in process FOH was debit. In second entry, work in process was also debited. Both were debit, sign were same, so you have added 40,320 and you have written over here. In this way, you have completed your left side, and answer of finished good is 171220. And here your answer is 171220. So first part of the question has been completed. And as I've told you, there is a good news about defective good as well. Why? Because your first entry would absolutely be similar. No amount would be changed, no narration would be changed, no input would be changed, and same entry you will be writing on second portion, where you will charge your loss to the production. Okay, and surprisingly, what would happen, your third entry would also be similar, and here you will put your third entry as well. Narration we need to put finished. Here you will put your narration, cost of finished goods. Okay, amount would be changed and we will see how to put that amount. But for second entry, there will be a change. When you will charge this loss to the production, last time when spoiled goods illustration we were doing, what we have done, at the time when loss was charged to the production, we have introduced a new word of FOH. In the similar way, you will take this entry as a whole and you will put as it is over here, but we don't have space, so for that I am going to choose only required data. So you are taking this entry and put it directly over here. Have you seen? I haven't changed the amounts for third entry as well, but introduction of new word FH would be put over here, and that's all. Nothing else would be different. And how you will calculate the amount of FH? For that purpose, you will add all three amounts present on credit side. First was 500 and then you add 400. Excuse me, why it is 200? It was 320. So here you will put 320 as well. Now it's time to calculate the sum. Because we are applying a simple accounting principle, whatever is present on credit side would be present, same amount would be present on debit side as well. So first amount is 500, then you will add second amount which is 400, then third amount 320. So we have got our amount 1220. Look how easy it was. We have directly calculated our amounts. it's time to calculate amount of finished goods. For that, again, we'll have to make ledgers. And surprisingly, you are not going to make ledgers in fourth part of defective goods when loss is charged to the production. Why? It's very important, and you can answer this easily. Here you have seen that in first part, when loss was not charged to the production, you were having two work in process. Work in process material up, work in process material in second entry. Now here in fourth part, where you are charging your loss to the production, work in process material present only once. There is no work in process material in second entry. It means ledger is not needed. So you will directly write down the amount of work in process material over here. How much is that? That amount is 80,000. What I am doing, I am taking amount of this work in process highlighted. Same amount you will put over here, and then you need to put amount of labor. This is amount of labor highlighted area, and same amount you will put over here without any calculation. And then finally the third amount is for FH. This is highlighted amount of work in process FH, and you write the same amount over here, and that's all. You don't need to change anything. First entry's amount would directly be posted over here. Why? Because there is no other amount present of work in process. But the logic, if someone wants to understand, we will make only one ledger. Work in process. I am willing to tell you why we have written only first amount. Work in process material ledger we are making, and we will see where work in process material is present in our question. This is our first entry. 80,000 is present on debit side. So you will put 80,000 on debit side. We are making ledger. In this entry, again, reference would be used whatever is written on opposite side. Two material is present on opposite side, and that's all. In ledger, we don't have anything else. There was only one entry which was having work in process. As you can see that this was your entry where work in process material was present. In second entry, work in process was absent. So our ledger input is completed. It's time to calculate the balance. For which what we will do, total of both sides. 80,000 is total of debit side, as there is only one amount. 0 is total of credit side, nothing was mentioned on credit side. Then you will choose the larger balance. Out of this 80,000 and 0, larger balance is 80,000. You will put 80,000 on total of both sides. Alright. Now it's time to calculate our balance. How would we calculate balance? By taking difference of larger and smaller sum. Larger sum was 80,000, and you will subtract smaller balance which was 0. In this way you have calculated your balance as 80,000, and same balance you will be putting at work in process material. That is why I was saying there was no need of making ledgers. We can directly put the amount. Now last step is to calculate amount of finished goods. Again, there is no formula for finished goods. We will just apply simple accounting principle. Amounts present on credit side are equal to amount present on debit side. So what we will do, we will take sum of amounts present on credit side, 80,000 plus 50,000 and plus 40,000. So this way your amount has been calculated. Finished goods, and you can see for B part answer is 170,000, and we have calculated 170,000 as answer. In first part answer was 171,220, and answer is 171,220. So as you have seen, all amounts are calculated, answers are matched. It was so interesting to make journal entries, though it's a basic knowledge for any accounting student. Journal entries is the first step, but still it's a conceptual study. It was directly associated with spoiled and defective goods. Right now we have performed 3 journal entries for defective goods if loss is not charged to the production, and 3 journal entries for defective goods if loss is charged to the production. Keep it in mind, whenever loss is charged to the production, you will introduce FH. And when loss is not charged to the production, FH would not be present over here. Repeat it. Whenever it is defective goods, you will introduce, and whenever it is defective goods and loss is charged to the production, you will introduce FH. While in case when you are not charging to loss to the production, you will be having this rework entry. So hopefully you people have understood both illustration of spoiled in previous lecture and illustration for defective goods. Now we are very open to start our chapter. But before that, I'm requesting you, if you have any query, any problem, any discussion regarding this question, you are very open to text, message, WhatsApp, or directly contact to clear your queries. And I will surely be trying to answer your queries instantly. Thank you very much for your time. It's time to say goodbye. Allah Hafiz.